Hey there, Nostalgics. Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgic Blasts, where we take a look at the best and worst in gaming. And on this channel, guys, this review is going to be a little bit overdue, because we're going to be looking at Onimusha Warlords, originally released in 2001 by Capcom on the PS2 and the original Xbox.
I will save Princess Yuki.
Reviewed Onimusha 2 and 3 here on the channel a few years ago, and it's been a long time coming, but I'm finally reviewing the first game in this underrated Capcom franchise, Onimusha Warlords. And this is a game that I played, I would say probably about 2 years ago for the first time through the HD port on the Xbox One, and even though it does have enhanced visuals, the game is pretty much the exact same from the original release. And what I hope to answer with this one today, considering how underrated this title is Onimusha Warlords worth going back to play today? Because there are a lot of enjoyable aspects of the game, with a few nitpicks chucked in here and there. But despite what I think, is it something I could recommend to all you guys? Let's find out. Onimusha Warlords is visually impressive, regardless of whether it's the combat, the cutscenes present in this game, or quite frankly any aspect of it. For an early PS2 and Xbox title in 2001, Capcom pulled out all the stops in making this game look visually impressive. The great character models and fluid animation that all of them have traveling through areas, whether you're hacking and slashing your way through demons with a variety of weapons that have their own animations and effects, whether you're going through the pre-rendered background stages on your journey, like flowing waterfalls and bustling temples with flames all around them. This game visually looks impressive for the time and still holds up extremely well today. There might be a few janky facial animations here and there, and some boss fights here and there that have some oddball movement, but really, this game looks extremely impressive, and HD version or original doesn't really matter, because this game looks extremely impressive, and even sports some awesome looking cutscenes for the time, like this one.
There is no escape from me! Forget about me! Go! Yuki, Kaede, Yume, Maru.
Soundtrack as well, this isn't the best one in the Onimusha series. I personally think Onimusha 3, considering Samanosuke's theme and Jacques' theme, two of the principal characters in that game, their themes are the standouts in Onimusha 3, crafting probably the best soundtrack in the entire series. But Onimusha Warlords, this first game, is extremely impressive in its soundtrack as well. And I am extremely impressed with a lot of them that are present within the game. For instance, the intro theme, Samanosuke's theme, the boss fight music. This game does sport several really cool tracks that are worth a listen. And this is one, actually, that's a personal favorite of mine, to kind of give you guys an idea of what the OST is like, but it's very good. like this, especially considering that this is a early hack and slash adventure title by Capcom, and kind of looking at other examples like the original Devil May Cry, which really didn't have an in-depth story either. Onimusha Warlords isn't going to blow anyone away in the story department. However, when it comes to the characters and being the first game in the series, setting up a legendary villain with Nobu Obunaga, a war general who was killed in battle and is resurrected by evil demonic forces after striking a deal to have his own demonic army of Genma in an attempt to take over medieval Japan, along with your principal character Samanosuke Akechi, who was chosen by the Onimusha gods themselves and given a gauntlet on his arm that allows him to absorb the souls of defeated enemies in an attempt to rescue a kidnapped princess that Oda himself wants to use to take over Japan, as well as Kaido, who is a ninja friend of Samanosuke. The two of them go on this journey to defeat Nobu Obunaga, and of course defeat the demonic army of Genma. The story is extremely simple in premise. It's basically going to rescue the princess and take down Oda, and of course Fortunabas, the demonic king himself. This is a simple story of going to defeat the evil bad guys and rescue the princess in an attempt to save medieval Japan. The story does have some fun writing here and there, some really cool interactions with Samanosuke, presenting him as this big stoic hero who's just willing to do the right thing, and you can tell he's earlier on in his prime, because comparing his characterization from this game to Onimusha 3, he doesn't have a ton of experience, but the characterization is on point, the dialogue's intriguing to listen to, the cutscenes play out extremely well to show all the various action scenes, showing the journey that these two take on to take down Oda for the very first time in the series. Once again, this story really isn't going to blow anyone away. It's an extremely basic premise, and again, this game is only 3 to 4 hours long as is, counting the gameplay, the puzzles, and everything else. So, while the story really isn't as strong as other games, especially later on in the series, it's solid enough, and you have some decent characters to boot. And you have some bizarre interactions as well that will keep the entertainment factor up.
Worthless bug.
Gameplay is extremely important in a game like this, especially when it comes to a hack-and-slash game that involves you traveling through areas, defeating enemies, and solving puzzles. And Onimusha Warlords is extremely similar to the original Devil May Cry, and even later games in the Onimusha series. This game isn't really going to blow anyone away if you've played these types of games before, but it's still extremely impressive and simple, and quite frankly to the point. You travel through various areas, obtaining new weapons and new powers, defeating enemies, you can block, you can attack, you can dodge and evade enemies, you have tank controls in the original version of the game that forces you to kind of strategize in corridor-like situations in order to evaluate the best way to defeat an enemy, but you have various weapons, elemental attacks, and thanks to that gauntlet that Samanosuke has, once you defeat enemies you can absorb souls, which allows you to charge up a meter that allows him to go all Dragon Ball Z-esque with white hair and enhanced power that doubles your attack strength and gives you various other abilities. In addition to the combat itself being extremely varied and fun, I really don't have a lot to critique when it comes to the core combat itself. It's extremely fun, fluid to execute, and again it's very, very simple for an early hack-and-slash game of this type. The one thing that I really don't care for too much from the original version was the tank controls. This game is built around it, and I do understand the game design is meant to force you to strategize in cramped environments against these enemies. And tank controls I did get used to in some of the later Onimusha titles, but they're not really for me. I feel like they're clunky, outdated, and honestly, full free-range movement is the best way to go. Of course, the HD version rectifies this, which that's the experience that I had. But nonetheless, though, in the original game, this isn't really the best, but you don't really have to worry about that too much in the HD version, as you have free-range movement.
Close the door, now!
Someone is there!
Get him!
Really all I have to say about Onimusha Warlords, guys. Overall, this is an extremely good game. I really enjoyed my time with this one, and despite some nitpicks I've had here and there, like the short length of the game and some irritating puzzles here and there, this is an extremely good game, and definitely one I can recommend you guys go and check out. With a solid story, cast of characters, really beautiful visuals at the time, a good soundtrack, and some simple and to the point and just extremely fun combat. This game offers a ton for people who have never played Onimusha before, or, quite frankly, any video game enthusiast, period. If you've not played Onimusha Warlords, and either you're a Capcom fan of good hack-and-slash games, or you're looking to get into a brand new video game series, Onimusha Warlords is the game for you. This is one I could highly recommend to just about anybody, both returning fans and newcomers. This is definitely one that you guys do not want to miss out on. If you don't want to play the original PS2 and Xbox releases, you can always pick up the HD version on Xbox One and PS4, which is honestly the way that I recommend it, with the enhanced visuals and the free range controls that aren't tank controls. If you're not into tank controls, definitely pick up the HD version. But Onimusha Warlords, all things considered, this is a really good title, and hopefully one day we see the Onimusha franchise come back. I would love to see more games created. That's going to do it for today's edition of Nostalgic Blast Reviews, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the video in the comment section down below. If you've ever played the Onimusha series, what do you think of Onimusha Warlords? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like. It does help support the channel. And subscribe if you guys want to catch future content like reviews, gaming collaborations, and everything else we do here. But that's all from me. And until next time, guys, this has been Ryan from the Nostalgia Factor saying, keep on gaming.